What's up, guys? NASCAR Full Tours 46V2 here. Sorry for the background noise. I'm watching a 007 movie right now with Sean Connery called "You Only Live Twice." But right now, that's not about. Let's not focus on what I'm watching. Let's focus on what the news that just completely, completely hit me out of left field right now. I just got news from NASCAR claiming that one of our big name teams, Hendrick Motorsports, is planning on racing for, or should I say, will be competing in the biggest and the most longest race in the history of motorsports, and which is the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 2023. I know a lot of you people didn't expect this, but in the long run, we do have a lot of cars coming out for 2023 for the prototypes, but this one was the hugest one I ever heard. A NASCAR built race car hitting the track at Le Mans for the 24-hour race at France, which is Le Mans. And by all means, I didn't expect this at all. I thought it was like something, like, oh, we're going to have a fifth driver because basically it's 2023 and we're going to have a fifth driver. No, this is not even close. This is not even close. This is something out of our radar that we didn't expect, out of our territory, basically. And I know this was speculated before when they had Forza Motorsport 6, when I heard about the NASCAR DLC update, and I was happy to see that. But this is way beyond a video game level. This is more along the lines of real life. NASCAR going to Circuit de la Sarthe for 24 hours straight in one particular car. That's the Chevy Camaro Generation 7 car, which is the next gen car that we're racing this year. Now I'm hearing next year they're going to be actually making an appearance in Le Mans for the 24-hour race. And it's going to be actually Garage 56. That tells me that's a garage that hasn't been used for a long time. And I got a good feeling that's a number. That's the number of a garage that basically is a special garage for only particular cars in general that are making an appearance for the 24-hour race at Le Mans. This was huge. Garage 56 or 40, 56. I thought it was like some sort of funny haha moment. No, this is no funny haha moment. This is legit stuff. And you know who was up there on the podium? The biggest man in NASCAR. The most prestigious Hall of Famer out there. Rick Hendrick just set the record straight that he's going to have one of his own cars touch the track of Le Mans or test it and race at the same time, unofficially on an unknown category, which is a class basically in Le Mans, because they're set in different categories of the race. I'm claiming they're going to put additional stuff to that NASCAR that could work on having working headlights and taillights on a NASCAR, which is huge. I'm just thinking how that car handled around a road course, because NASCARs are not great around road courses, but due to the fact we got a new next gen car, and we got a rear diffuser, I didn't expect this at all. I mean, neither my dad. I thought they're gonna go to Australia, go up against those guys, like take 4 drivers from Hendrick, 4 drivers from Gibbs, and 4 drivers from Stewart Haas to go down there and just, race up against those guys. No, this is way more bigger than that. This is the 24-hour race at Le Mans, setting the record straight. And Mr. H said, we're not lagging back here. We're talking about we're competing for our own class. So I don't know how many cars they're gonna have in that class, because all I saw was Hendrick Motorsports and their Camaros, and they have the rendering up, and I my eyes just exploded out of my head, like 2 little egg-sized bombs just exploded in my head, in my eyes. My jaw dropped to the floor when I heard this news. A NASCAR competing in Le Mans. Are you kidding me? What's next? Taking the entire NASCAR series and go to Le Mans? Like, damn. They do have a short course, but only for maybe motorcycles. and like other series other than that. But if they are gonna take NASCAR to LeMan, uh, I mean, by all means, that's a big jump. I mean, I know we don't have a lot of body parts, but just think of it: seeing headlights on a NASCAR. Even Larry Mack was talking about that every time. We should add lights to these cars, and now it's happening for next year. Holy shoot! Like, can we can we have a diecast of that has a switch on the bottom that could make the headlights work? I mean, that's cool to me. I mean, that'll work. But I mean, yeah, I mean that's pretty cool. But we got a little situation about that. They're gonna be using Goodyears. The rest of the field's gonna be using Michelin's. Can somebody tell me that? I mean, we have a different tire compound to compare to the IMSA cars. I mean, those IMSA cars run on Michelin's. I mean, those tires are a little bit more stickier than a Goodyear tire. I mean, unless they prove us wrong that they find a way to make our Goodyear tires work better. I mean, that's fine by me. But that's some huge news that everybody's gonna be scratching their heads about. Right now, I'm scratching mine because it's huge. This was huge news. It's like saying we're going to Australia. I would like to see that our NASCAR Cup cars will go up against Australia's Gen 3 car because that's still up in the air. But this one was the biggest because NASCAR never made a jump. Don't get me wrong, but Steve Phelps was there in that meeting as well. I was surprised that they brought him into this because usually NASCAR is very strict on rules about going to different places. They tried that before in Tokyo, and it worked out pretty well. And sometimes they had drivers from Tokyo racing in NASCAR, but this is something way more bigger than that. I mean, I know Mr. H wants to get back into sports cars, but I mean, seriously, I mean, what was that all about? Like, they like just taking a hat or a NASCAR cap, flipped it upside down, head on the bed, and then they pulled the rabbit out of the hat that's big enough to make dinner out of. It was the rabbit dinner. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm just totally in shock. A NASCAR stock car going around the biggest track of all, the longest track. I don't mind the biggest, the longest track of all, Circuit de la Sarthe. I would like to try it in Forza 6 again because it gives me big vibes about it. Because basically back in the day, NASCAR was really huge. Because when NASCAR was in video games, but then Forza picked it up, it was like, what? NASCAR don't have headlights, but this is big enough. This is big enough to the point that NASCAR right now is making a huge footprint, the size of Mount Rushmore, or the size of Godzilla's foot. I don't know how big could it be. What's next? We go to Australia and race up against those? I would like to hear that news. What do you guys think? Write down in the comments down below. What's next for NASCAR? LeMan is up next. What else? Should we go to Australia and fight for those guys as well? I would like to see that too. Because this was in the works for a long, long time. I mean, I didn't expect them to race in LeMan. Even Australia's pegging on that too. For the Cup cars to come down to Australia. I would like to see that. I would love to see that. I mean, just imagine Joe Logano and Keselowski getting taken out early in the race in Australia. Everybody would be like, you guys can't handle getting hit. Better yet, all the other guys are still running around, and you two are the only two that just gotten taken out of the race. That'll be funny. That'll be in the biggest gag grill of all. But LeMan, I mean, I wouldn't put Penske in there because they got like two. I mean, they got one road course ringer that's pretty good, but then you put Logano in there, it's like a bad case of carbon fiber back up in your stomach because it's like no good. But write down in the comments what you guys think. What's next after 2023? Should we go to Australia in 2024 or who knows? The NASCAR might be saved with this new next gen car. I didn't expect this at all. This is huge. I mean, they're thinking about doing a hybrid system to the NASCAR. I mean, first of all, let's stick to the motor, what we have now, or stick a Corvette motor from one of those track day NASCARs that Hendricks got, and stick them in there. Like, That'll be easy. I mean, because that track day car's got sequential gearbox anyway, so why not? I mean, it's a project all to itself. Project 56. That'll be an interesting. This was in the works for a long time, man. I didn't expect it, but write it down in the comments. What's next for NASCAR? LeMan is already ahead of schedule. What's next? Australia? Let's go. Let's do it. Bring it. I'm down, man. I'm down.